Welcome, new and old friends. My name is 242, and 2 decide we should do a compilation today. So you have something to listen to while you're either working and busy, or something to fall asleep to, whatever you're doing. So either grab yourself a tea or coffee, or get yourself cuddled in bed, because things are about to get interesting. Customer insults me in another language. Didn't realize I understood her. So, I come from a Dutch background. I am nowhere near fluent in the language, but I know enough that I can pick up some words and understand a few sentences. So, about 8 years ago, I was helping a customer needing some paint made. As I'm mixing it, her phone rings, and she answers it and begins speaking Dutch. As she was talking, I can pick out that she's telling whoever where they are, then they say something along the lines of, "I have one of those dumb young workers mixing it." I say nothing. I decide to wait for the right moment as I mix her paint, and she continues talking. When her paint is done, I hand her the can of paint. She says thank you, and I say in Dutch, "You're welcome, goodbye." She froze, her mouth open, and then says, "You speak Dutch?" I didn't want her to know on how little I actually knew, so I just simply said, "Yep." She quickly darted for the cash area. It was very funny and rewarding. Personally, I love these stories because I really hate when people do these things to people. This is very rude in my books. And they definitely got some karma. Don't read the sign, get splashed. I work at a gas station, and I was cleaning the nozzles for the fountain drinks. It takes about 20 minutes if I'm quick. I put up a sign both in English and Spanish, cleaning, out of service, do not use. With the nozzles not there, when you push the button, all the syrup and carbonated water just flies everywhere. You get splashed, the floor gets splashed, syrup is everywhere. It's awful to clean if it isn't wiped away right away. Overall, a great time. I call it the splash zone. I managed to stop 2 older regulars who get beverages every day from us like it's second nature. It's very understandable, laugh a little bit to themselves for being on autopilot, thank me, and get bottled drinks instead. But while I was cleaning, the sink is running, I'm scrubbing. I don't hear anything until I hear the loud pshh of the fountain drink machine. I look over, and there's a man covered in water and syrup, full on had a SeaWorld splash. On his shirt, the counter, the floor. He proceeds to throw the cup away, take another cup, and try a different drink. Somehow, I managed to shout at him to stop before he gets the second splash. I pointed to the big sign saying the nozzles were being cleaned. Guy looks at me, scowls, throws the second cup away, and leaves. We're not a busy store, but this repeats 4 more times before I could finish cleaning all of the nozzles, on top of people walking on the syrup-covered ground, tracking around the whole darn store. Lo and behold, once the nozzles were back on, now nobody wanted fountain drinks. Sometimes I cry myself to sleep. 4 more people? Oh my goodness, OP. I feel so bad for you. I used to have to clean the fountain drinks too. And yeah, when someone hits them, they are not fun to clean up. It gets everywhere. I better not be charged twice. I don't tend to get very many insane customers in my small little town. But when that happens, boy, are they noteworthy. So here I am, just minding my business, up at cash, and a lady walks in with her son. They come up to the counter. Karen: "We just bought these shoes yesterday and they're already broken." I check the shoes, and they are indeed broken. Me: "Okay, I can hold these up here for you if you want to go to the shoe department and grab another pair." Karen: "Well, we're going to have to." They proceed to walk away, and after a couple of minutes, I can hear a commotion start in the back, and I notice Karen is giving my coworker in the shoe department a hard time. After a couple more minutes, Karen and her son reappear at my till. Karen: "These shoes are the same price, so I'll just show you my receipt." Me: "Well, I still need to go through the exchange process." Karen: "You better not charge me twice." Then Karen's son explains again that I still need to do the exchange, and that seems to calm her down for the moment. So I begin the exchange process and return the shoes. Then I set them on the counter behind me. Karen: "What did you just do?" Me: "I just returned the first pair of shoes, and now I'm going to purchase the new pair, and if they are the same price, it will zero out." And then I do exactly that. Me: "Well, actually the price of the new shoes is a penny less, so you'll be getting 1 penny back." Karen: "That's stupid. No one even uses pennies anymore. You better not have charged me twice. You won't be getting any money if you have charged me twice." Me: "Well, I still need to put this penny on a card, so if you could just tap your card on the machine." Karen: "Where's the machine?" Me: "It's just behind your purse right there." After she taps her card, I print out the receipts. Because she is doing a return with a credit card, there are 2 extra receipts that get printed that she needs to sign. One is for our records, and the other is for the credit card company. Karen: "Oh no, I'm not signing 2 receipts. You better have not charged me twice." Me: "I just need you to sign them for our records, and I haven't actually charged you at all. I gave you back 1 penny. Karen: "You better not have charged me twice." Me: "I didn't. See, look." I was pointing at the receipt at this point, explaining it out to her. The shoes you returned were $90. There is a little minus there to show that it is a return. And then the new ones were $89.99, so you got 1 penny back. Karen: "Oh, no. The shoes I bought were $101. You better not have charged me twice." Me: "Yes, the shoes would have come to $101 after taxes, but before taxes, they were $90. Karen: "You better not be telling me that they were $90 because I paid $101. Me: "They were $101 with tax, $90 before tax." She then starts signing the receipts. Karen: "I don't like this. No, something fishy is going on here. You better not be trying to cheat me." Me: "Of course not. We never want to cheat any of our customers." Karen: "If I find out I've been charged twice, you won't see any money. I'm going to call corporate. You know, I was here before and I bought a pair of winter shoes, and then I came in the summer and bought a pair of summer shoes, and it turned out they were both summer shoes. So I've been cheated before. You guys need to get your story straight." And with that, she followed her son, who had left earlier, and walked out of the store. Well, that story gave me a couple flashbacks. I have dealt with a few customers like this, and trying to tell them that no, it's a return, I'm not charging you, look, the screen says refund, is very annoying. They're just funny looking quarters. I'm a cashier at a smaller grocery store chain on the East Coast. The day that this story occurred was a very busy Friday, and 3 of our front-end managers had just quit. So, we were pretty understaffed. A dirty and tired-looking young woman came through my line with normal groceries, milk, bread, and frozen food, and I rang up her order. She then proceeded to pull out a plastic bag filled with Canadian quarters to pay with. I obviously questioned her, and she assured me they were just funny-looking quarters. I honestly had no desire to argue with this woman, but I still paid for our last front-end manager that was there at the moment, and she assured me that we could take Canadian quarters as payment. I was shocked and counted them all out, but I was still unsure. I talked to one of the main store managers later about it, who proceeded to talk to the front-end manager about it, who then ended up crying in the bathroom because she was stressed out. The whole day was sort of dramatic. That same front-end manager also dropped a huge glass bottle of beer that got everywhere that day. The smell was horrible. I also got cursed out by a customer when his order rang up wrong and he stormed out of the store instead of letting me fix it. Regardless, I'm glad that young woman got her groceries for basically free though. She honestly looked like she was going through it. I know that Canadian and American quarters do look quite a bit different. The rest of the coinage, not so much. And I know Canadian retailers will take American money without hesitating, while American retailers do not take Canadian money ever that I've seen. So this woman really did good, and I really hope that OP is doing better, and I really hope this manager is doing better. This seemed like a very bad day. You're working. That's no time to eat. I work in a mall store doing tech repairs. Today, I closed the store for about 15 minutes to go get some food from the food court. I didn't eat breakfast, so I'm starving for some cheesesteak. I got the pepperoni cheesesteak, and yes, it's delicious. Anyways, I get back to the store and start reopening when a lady comes fast stepping into the store. Big handbag, the haircut, big sunglasses. I sigh and put on my customer service persona. Hi, welcome to Store Name. How can I help you today? Excuse me, I came by earlier and you were closed. I need my phone fixed and I'm very busy today. I apologize and explain I had to get food. Point at my cheesesteak, which I was eating when she came in. Clearly, it's lunchtime. You're at work. You're not supposed to eat at work. Again, I apologize and explain I didn't eat breakfast and my blood sugar was tanking. She interrupts me and screams about how it's unprofessional to eat at work and it's rude to close the store for something so trivial as human substance. I apologize for the 3rd time and change the subject. I ask, how can I help her? My phone won't charge and it's been dead for 3 days. Now, I know how to handle this. I plug her phone into my amp meter and there's a trickle of power going in. It's reading about 0.47 average. I take a pair of tweezers and in her charging port was a few little clods of dust and pocket lint. I plug it back in. It charges perfectly. I hand it back and start to explain it will be free because it was an easy repair. And when she starts yelling about how I couldn't have fixed it that fast, and it's not okay to short a customer. So I cue some malicious compliance. She wants it done right, I'll do it right. I pull a chair up for her and turn on some music and open the phone up. I fiddle around with the charging port for a while, pretending to fix a phone I've already fixed. Now, since I've opened the phone, I have to charge her $50 for labor. She scoffs and claims she now knows I tried to waste her time. She pays the $50 and leaves, and I have a good laugh over making a sale that I didn't need to make for a phone that didn't need a repair. Really, this woman didn't see him pull lint and stuff out of her phone? Like, really, it doesn't take much for the charging ports to not want to work. They're very finicky, and it just, this woman is baffling. She thinks a free service is bad, but a $50 service is better. She got the same thing, except he now wasted more her precious time. What a bloody idiot. Police caught a shoplifter last night. Caught a shoplifter today. So today I was working at the convenience store. This girl comes in and grabs a drink. Then she starts approaching the counter. But instead of getting in line, she just walks behind the counter like she works there or owns the place, grabs a pack of Newports, and strolls out. Meanwhile, I'm all, "You can't be back there. I need you to pay for that." And she just walks out like she can't hear me, and it's normal to just take what you want and go home. So I followed her out. Probably shouldn't have. Boss will probably talk to me about that. But I was angry, and I approached her, reached out, grabbed the box out of her hands there in the parking lot. And she starts yelling, "Oh, I'm the Tasmanian devil. I can do whatever I want." And I just walk around to the front door. The side door locks behind you. And she's all following me, calling herself the Tasmanian devil. She tries to follow me in, and I tell her she's not allowed. So she stands in the entrance, blocking the door, screaming rando Tasmanian stuff at me. And I want her to go away. So I call the cops. She honestly seemed unhinged, and I was alone at the moment and maybe scared. She's yelling, but as soon as she realizes I'm calling the cops, she takes off. So a few minutes later, a police car pulls up and asks me what happened and all. They get a report that someone's found her a few blocks away. They ask if I'll go identify her. My coworker is back at this point and says okay. I jump in the police car. We pull up and see her talking to an officer. The officers get out of the car and she bolts. Starts sprinting faster than any smoker should run. So the officers get back in the car, turn on the sirens and lights, I couldn't tell, and speed after her for a few blocks with me in the back seat. They cuffed her and asked for ID. She refused to tell her who she was. They got her in the back of the other cop car, searched their system for Tasmanian devil. Her picture pops up on the screen. Turns out she's a serial shoplifter. So, all in all, quite an adventure for an $8 pack of Newports. Seems like the cops in OP's town know the Tasmanian devil, and it's a she, and she's a shoplifter on top of that. I personally just thought this was an interesting story and wanted to share it with you. OP really shouldn't have gone after this woman. That could end way worse than it did. Well, it ended pretty awesome. Tell me what you guys think down in the comments. Too young to know what I'm talking about. So, I work at a local hardware store, and I'm the manager of our service department. It actually throws off most people because I'm the youngest person in our department, 25, when everyone else is 60 plus. I know a lot about hardware and plumbing and such, even more than a lot of the older guys, but of course, most people don't expect that coming from a younger guy. At one point, we had a gentleman come in and ask about whether we had this item for his air conditioning unit. We don't sell parts for air conditioning units, so I kindly told him we don't sell that, and a place that is about 10 minutes away that will probably have something like that. Apparently, he wasn't happy with my answer and proceeded to walk away without saying anything. I then see him walk up to one of my older coworkers, who I knew didn't know the answer to the question he just asked me. And then he asked him the same question. My coworker looks at me, tells the guy he doesn't know stuff like that, and to ask the younger man at the desk. He turns around and looks at me, and I give him a nice smile and wave. He then walks out in a huff, saying, "How do I know it, but he doesn't?" I personally hate this. I have worked at a hardware store as a person who sells lumber and have had people walk away from me because I'm a woman, go to a male who then proceeds to bring them back to me and get them to ask the question. And look, I can answer it. Age and gender doesn't matter. Knowledge is knowledge, and I hate customers like this. Why didn't you tell me? I did. Ring, ring. Thank you for calling the party store. How can I help you? Do you do balloons? Yes. Okay, so can I get happy birthday balloons, like black, silver, and gold on them, and say happy birthday? Well, we're actually out of most of the happy day balloons, but just to let you know, I can't take orders over the phone. That's fine. What do you have? A heart balloon that says happy birthday, but it's blue. Okay, that's fine. Can I get also a bouquet of latex, like black, silver, and gold? Well, you see, we have those too, but as I said, I can't take an order over the phone. Okay, so you have the balloons though? Yes, but I can only tell you what I have in stock. I can't blow these up for you until you get to the store. What? I can't blow these up until you get to the store. I can't do an order over the phone. But you said you can do balloons. Yes, we have the ability to do balloons, but I can't blow these up until you pay for them at the store. I can pay. That's great, but I can't do an order over the phone. Why? It's a store policy. But you told me you can blow up balloons. Yes, but again, as I said, I can't do an order over the phone. Why didn't you tell me this in the first place? F you! Click. This wasn't even 10 minutes into my shift. How many times does this woman have to be told that they don't take orders over the phone? 5 bloody times? What a Karen. Just listen to what people are saying. She can tell you what the stock is. She can't get the order ready. I feel so bad for OP on this one. It's 36 cents. No big deal. So, I used to work at an ice cream chain where we prepared the ice cream with various toppings on a frozen piece of rock. On this particular day, I was working with one other person and it wasn't too busy. 2 young guys came in about high school age. They order a large bowl of ice cream with a few toppings. I mix it for them and went to ring them up. I will use G for Guy since I really just talked to one of them. Me. Okay, so that's going to be X dollars. Guy. Okay, I have a gift card. Me. Great. Scans gift card. So it looks like you owe another 36 cents after the gift card. At this point, they both look at each other and shrug sadly. Guy. Oh, I'm sorry. I don't have any money with me. Never mind. Me. Oh, hey, it's cool. It's only 36 cents. I take the 36 cents out of the tip jar and put it in the till. It's no big deal. Guy. Wow, thanks. The two guys leave, and I thought that was that. Feels good doing something nice. So, the one guy comes back several hours later. I saw him come in and went to the register to meet him. Me. Oh hey, you're back. Did you need something else? Before I can finish, and without looking at me once or saying a word, he dropped a $20 bill into the jar and immediately turned and left. I was so shocked. I just stared after him until he walked out the door. So, that was pretty cool. I have to agree with OP. That was pretty cool. I mean, most of the time when you take money out of your tip jar, people don't come back and give you $20. That is really cool and pretty heartwarming. Nice from a Tales from Retail story. Old bizarre story. I haven't been in retail for more than 20 years, but I recently remembered one of the most bizarre interactions I had when I worked part-time at a furniture store. It was the late 90s, and I was working part-time in a furniture store on the weekends during college. One day, I get a call from a lady who had special ordered a bedroom set 4 months ago. At the time, she was told the order would take 3 months and wanted to know whether we had her furniture in yet. No problem. I asked her for her receipt/invoice number, but the system didn't have a record of her order. I asked for her name, but the system didn't have a record of her either. She gets irate, tells me she has her receipt in her hand, and berates me for not understanding simple numbers and how to spell. She finally tells me she wants a full refund and she's coming in person to make sure she gets her money back. 20 minutes later, the woman shows up. She asks for the person she spoke to on the phone, and when I come out to help her, she yells at me for being incompliant. I've got a thick skin, and at this point, I'm really curious to see what the problem is, so I ask to see the receipt. I look at it and immediately see the problem. She is at the wrong store. We don't have a record of her order because she didn't buy anything from our store. I point this out to her, but she refuses to believe me. She's convinced the store, and me in particular, are trying to steal her money. I point out that the store name on her receipt and the name in front of the store she's currently at isn't the same. The receipt we issue don't look anything like hers. The phone numbers don't match. She says it's been 4 months and we could have gotten a new receipt and made changes. The phone number on her receipt doesn't work anymore, and she found our store in the phone book. She trusts the phone book to be right. Finally, I ask her to read the address on her receipt and walk her outside to show her the street signs to prove to her we are not the same location. Our store wasn't part of a chain. It only had a single location. I tell her maybe she should go to the address shown on the receipt and get her refund there. Showing her the public street signs finally clicked something in her mind, and she stormed off. Got in her car and left. Didn't apologize or say a word. I later found out the store on the receipt had gone out of business a few months earlier. Wow, that is one crazy customer. Either the customer knew that the other business went out of business and was just trying to see if she can get her money somewhere else, or she was that dense. Either way, I'm so sorry that OP had to deal with someone like that, and this woman lost her money. Don't let my wife see. I work in a small, locally owned toy shop in a little college town. However, we have a lot of down-to-earth people and families. Couple comes in with 3 kids and immediately the kids go crazy, wanting to show their parents every single toy in the store. It is a small store, but it is broken into 3 distinct sections, rooms connected by walkways. We have a card rack next to the cash wrap that has all sorts of cards. As the wife is being dragged by her kids around the store, the husband comes up to me and quickly goes, "Don't let my wife see, we are big Star Wars fans," and slides me this card and cash to pay for it. I quickly make small talk with him about the weather and ring him up. I finish just in time as his wife and kids walk around and then grab their dad to go and beg and ask for toys. I'm chatting with the mom and she sees a card on the card rack and says, "This would be perfect for my husband, but don't let him see this," and slides me the cash. Finishes the transaction and winks. It's the exact same card. They finish their shopping, purchase a few toys for their 3 kids, and walk out, both chuckling to themselves about how clever they are. When I read this one, I knew I had to read it for you guys. I personally think this is just adorable, and I bet when they both opened the card, they laughed. They were going to charge you £400? I work in a retail in UK electronic retailer, and this tale takes place today and yesterday. So a customer comes up to me looking for a new laptop. I show him around a few of the laptops and he states he needs something portable but powerful. Of course, these 2 things usually mean a 13-inch laptop with an i5 or an i7. Me, so what do you need it for? Customer, well, the laptop has to be powerful, but I need it to be lightweight as I'm an international student. Me, right, okay. Here's a few laptops we have that will fit this description. Note about these laptops, they are usually around £600 to £1,000 depending on the brand and specifications. Now, I noticed the customer is carrying a laptop in a carrying bag, and I ask him about that one, just being a bit nosy, but also making conversation as I show him around the laptops. Me, so what's wrong with that laptop? Customer, oh, the battery has blown up and doesn't power on anymore. Me, right, okay, can I have a look? So he takes it out of the bag, and I notice it's a MacBook Air. Being the store's Apple person, I ask if I can have a look. Now, I notice it has another computer shop sticker on the top of it, so I ask about that. I see you've taken it to the other computer store down the road. What did they say was wrong with it? This store is part of an Apple-style chain with a shop literally down the road that people mistake for an actual Apple store all the time. Customer, they didn't open it up, but they said it would cost about £400 for the problem I told them I thought it was. Me, eternally. They've quoted this and haven't even had a look at it. No surprise there. So I took the Mac from the customer and walked him down to the Apple counter of our small store. I plug it into the Mac charger and notice that it lights up green, but not switch to amber, which it would do. So, just out of habit, I performed an SMC reset. Basically, a hard reset to tell the Mac to get it together. On the MacBook, and it turned on. Customer, oh my gosh, you got it working. Me, yeah, I just want to run some diagnostics to make sure this isn't a fluke. I got the customer to change the language from his native to English and got to the diagnostics. The test came back fine and the battery reported fine. Me, it is in good working order with no problems, it just needed this reset and now it'll be fine. However, your charger is toast, so you'll need a new one of those. Customer, that's amazing, thank you so much. My dissertation was on there and I would have had to start it again. Now, I just completed my dissertation, so I completely understand the situation and the stress of university life. Customer, how much will it be for the fix? Me, nothing. It was a fast 2 minutes fix. No need to worry. To this, the customer becomes all thankful and happy and tells me he wants to pay for dinner. And I insist it's okay and just part of my job. So he's on his way with his Mac in working order and a warning not to use the charger and to use an extra form of storage to back up his work. Today, he came back in and purchased the new charger and was looking specifically for me in the store. He had gone out and bought me a cake and macaroons from a high-end cake shop. At first, I said I couldn't accept, was thinking of work and the cake obviously cost a lot of money, but after much insistence, I did accept and the customer left happy, and I left work later in the evening with a cake in town and a smile on my face. Not all customers are difficult, and it left me with so much joy at the end of my workday. What a great story. Both people win at the end. The customer has his Mac back, it's working again, and didn't lose all their work, which would have been horrible to have to restart that. And OP got a cake, even though OP wasn't looking for a cake. This is just really heartwarming. How does a computer store just tell you how much something's going to cost without opening and looking at it? There's no way of actually knowing if the customer's right without looking at the computer. I'm really happy OP asked questions and was completely able to fix this problem for this poor customer. If you're rude and refuse to pay, we have the right to refuse service, even after they're done. So, I was in the shop one day, and a customer was in getting some keys copied. Nice and simple job. Suddenly, while I got the machine running, some shirtless guy comes in looking really frantic. I tell him I'll be just a minute longer, then I finish the keys. I send the first customer on his way. Frantic dude. Geez, took you long enough. I need you to come unlock my car. I'm already a little annoyed. It's almost closing time. But I just figure he's got a kid, dog, groceries, something like that in the car, and give him the benefit of the doubt. Me. No problem. Where is it? Frantic dude. A couple of miles that way. My girlfriend drove me over here. You can follow us to it. I get some info from him, the kind of car it is, the name, number, address, just in case we get separated, etc. Frantic dude. My phone's in the car, so if you call it, I won't answer. Me. Then how about your girlfriend's number? Frantic dude. Hers is in the car too. Well, okay then. Since it's pretty much closing time, I just go ahead and set the alarm and lock the doors as I leave. He doesn't like this and starts saying how I'm taking forever. Yeah, take a chill pill. 5 extra seconds won't kill ya. I get in my truck and follow him out there. When we get there, I grab my tools and head to the car. Surprisingly, there's nothing in there except for the keys on the seat. No kids or dogs. So now, I'm just hoping it's actually their car. Frantic dude. You better not mess up my doors. This is a classic. Yeah, a classic Ford POS. I open it up in about 10 seconds and check the insurance card. And yep, it's their car. I pick up the keys and go over to him. Tell him it's $40 and he just looks at me dumbfounded. Frantic dude. Wait, you mean I have to pay for this? Yeah. Me. Yes, sir. We charge a service call when we have to go out to the location. Frantic dude. Well, I'm not paying for that. You didn't like 10 seconds. I could have done that myself if I had known. Me. Well, I'm sorry, but I can't do this for free. I could have, but there was no real urgency like a life in danger. Plus, he was rude about the whole thing. We normally would just bill someone in this situation, but we've been burned too many times. So we only do that for companies. Frantic dude. I'm not paying for that. I don't have any money. Me. Then, if you think you can do it yourself, go for it. I throw his keys in the car, lock the doors, shut it behind me, and leave. I get home about 10 minutes later. Then, after probably an hour, he calls back. Frantic dude. I can't get it open. Come back and open the car again. Me. I can go out again, but I'll have to charge you for 2 service calls. Frantic dude. Fudge you, butthole. I'm not paying you $80. Me. Then you can call out the other locksmith nearby. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to click. I didn't tell him, but they charge $100 to unlock cars. Never heard back from him. I'm really happy OP threw the keys back in the car and locked it. He has to be charged for a service that is unlocking a car, and if he's not willing to pay, then don't unlock the car. I've locked keys in a car once, and it cost me $80, so I wouldn't be complaining about this. What did you expect the guy to do? You have called him there twice. He's going to charge you twice. That's only fair, and it seems like he had to pay $100 in the end. So that's pretty funny. This happened a few years ago. I was a female working in a hardware store. It gets better as well, because I was the lumber, tools, and hardware associate. So I know how to help you build that deck, what tools you need for it, and the screws to go with it. I was by myself first thing on a Sunday morning. I'm getting everything up and running and checking for notes. This guy walks up to the desk and I ask how I can help him. He looks at me and says he needs something else and walks away. Now this does happen. People realize they need something else or they were looking around. I stay at the desk, cleaning and making sure we're ready for the Sunday, when a male coworker walks up with the customer. Coworker, 242 can help you with that, sir. She is great with that stuff. I smile and ask him again what he needs. Customer, I need insulation. Me, oh great. Is it 2x4 walls or 2x6? Without hesitating, as I grab my pen and paper. The guy looks surprised that I just knew it off the top of my head and answers my question. Me, is it for 16 centers or 24s? Do you need vapor barrier? How about tuck tape? It's right there in front of me. And I just made sure he had everything he needed for his job, handed him his paperwork to take to the cashier, and told him where the lumberyard was. It makes my day when I think about that. I remember being warned that that could happen, and it really was the only time I ever noticed it happened. And if it did more than that, I don't care. That's their problem, not mine. I found that my overall tolerance for this bull has plummeted during this lockdown. By Silvery Phoenix. There are a collection of phrases / actions that the end user has / does that invokes an instant resistance in me. User. Could you ring me to talk me through these instructions? Me. No, my instructions are 4 bullet point long and contain no jargon. You're an adult. User's putting, this needs to be done ASAP / urgent / use of a high importance flag. When I read the body of the request, it relates to something that doesn't need to be done until the next day. Absolutely no. Action. I send out a company-wide email with instructions and information. User replies asking a question that has been covered by my initial email. My response, your email is being ignored. Read the original email, damn it. User, I'm no good at IT. Me? In that case, don't get into IT. Action. I send around a company-wide email regularly stating that IT issues are to be sent to our group IT email in every instance. Then simply reply to whoever in the IT picks it up. Users are not to email individual members of the team to report issues under any circumstance, as they are not to be picked up. End user emails me directly to report and gets pissy at me later on that I've not responded. Me? I bet they struggle to empty a boot full of water with the instructions on the heel. Action. User emails IT. 24 minutes later, user emails IT again about the same issue. Actual event. She wanted a training link sent to her, and she sent both emails after I had left for the day. I'd already told her twice to send one email only, and I'd get to it as soon as I could. After this, I went to her head of department. She hasn't spoken to me since. User. I know you're busy, but... Me? Get in the sea. Action. While I'm moving through a department with a purpose, while you're here, I've got something to ask you. Me? Why aren't you in the sea yet? Action. I followed your instructions and it hasn't worked. I log on, see they're not following my instructions at all. I tell them to follow the instructions. This isn't how I usually do it. And bing, it works. It's almost as if your way is shit and my way works, because I know what I'm doing and you're a stale donut masquerading as a human. Edit. Action. Any email in all caps. Me. Nope. You're shouting. I don't respond, just shouting. User. Is there a problem with the system? Me. Stop asking this question. You clearly have an issue you want to report. Tell me about your issue. So my thoughts next. I get where OP is coming. With everything going on, everyone's tolerance has hit the bottom. We are all very stressed, and being asked questions or people doing things that you have strictly told them not to is very annoying to begin with. I'm guilty of the last one. I have asked people, but not an IT person, hey, do you know if this program's down? Because if it's just down, I don't want to have to go sit down and talk to IT. But if it is, then I know that that's my next step. So that's the only thing I really know for a fact I'm guilty of, but I try not to phone IT. I try to fix things myself first if it's not something that's going to damage anything. If I really have no clue what I'm doing, I ain't touching it. I'll go get someone who knows what they're doing. So I hope that put a few smiles on your faces, because a few of their phrases really made me laugh. I don't trust anyone who responds to emails at the speed of light. By Quantum Dirge. Working on a client's request to upload some contacts into his account. CMR tech support. Pretty standard. For some quick contacts, we can upload as many contacts as you want, but obviously it takes longer depending on how many are in your file. Also, to upload contact files from a spreadsheet, we have to assign the spreadsheet columns to fields in the system using a little upload program, which means the clients are supposed to put their contacts info in the relevant columns, one column each for each name, phone number, email, etc. This client in particular was feeling a little frisky that day. Had over 20,000 contact records. Thanks, I hate it. File was a mess. Names in the phone number column, random strings of text in the email column, bits of address info just scattered throughout the entire thing. It was as if Jackson Perlock had a fight with Microsoft Excel and won. No way the upload tool was going to accept it. Half of the contacts didn't have names or contact information, just descriptions. Contacts do have to at least have a first or last name in order to be uploaded. Ticket titled Urgent automatically puts you in my personal sinner's queue as last priority. So I send a detailed email letting him know everything wrong with the file and what he needs to fix before it can be uploaded. Close ticket. X out of ticket. Move on to other work. Before I'm able to actually move on to anything else, I see a ticket reopen notification in my inbox. Guess who? Client. Yes, please upload the contacts as specified. It is urgent. Thank you. I squint at the timestamp on the ticket. 32 seconds between me closing the case and him responding. My dude has either some wild thumb speed or he has responded with his mind. I wait about 30 minutes before replying back with my obligatory per my last email and copy-paste my response. 30 minutes in the sinner's queue didn't cool him off, as he responds about 25 seconds later. Client, contacts are exactly how I want them. Now please upload. It is very important. I go for lunch for an hour, return, and reply back letting him know that I physically can't upload his contacts until he makes the changes I asked for. 44 seconds later, client, I looked over the file before I sent it. Everything looks good. I want it uploaded immediately. It is at this point that he goes into level 2 of the sinner's queue, while I get to the other tickets/calls. Level 2 means you might get a reply from me by the end of the day. If not, I'll get to you tomorrow sometime. Please find something to do other than refreshing your inbox every half a second. At some point, Speedy sent in 3 or 4 new tickets to the queue, all just 20 to 30 seconds to a minute apart, angusting about his contacts not being uploaded. A co-worker of mine finds them and sees that I have already worked with him. We chat a bit and she figures she'll respond in the hopes of hearing the same thing from 2 different people might knock some sense into him. She also includes a screenshot of my email, highlighted the bits detailing the changes we need and the reason for them. Shockingly, Speedy doesn't respond for 3 whole mother effing minutes. Maybe the downs finally kicked in. Client, I did not see that part. I'm sorry. I will look at this and get back to you. The first line of my email said something along the lines of, Hi, customer. I was trying to upload your file, but there are a few changes we'll need you to make first. I can only guess that he read this line and just stopped processing input altogether. Too long, didn't read, Chuckle F prides himself in responding to emails faster than he can mentally process them. So, my thoughts next. At least it seems like they got it fixed in the end, but Speedy Gonzalez here will have to wait longer for those contacts that were just so urgent. So urgent he couldn't read the response emails so he could, fix the problem. And why did it take 2 people for him to finally read the darn email? I feel so bad for you, OP. I hope you laugh at some point about this. Top of my modem has been stolen by Link 2022. First post, be gentle. I used to work tech support for British ISP. One day I got a call from a panicked customer who told me that someone stole the top half of her modem. Now, English is my second language, and even though I'm fairly confident in my English, my first thought was that this lady was using some form of slang. It was years ago, so it might not be verbatim, but the conversation went something like this. Me, what do you mean somebody stole the top of your modem? Old lady, I mean, my modem was fine when I left my house, and when I was back, the top of my modem was gone. Me, do you see any wires coming out of the modem? Old lady, no, the top half is just missing. Me, this is verbatim. Madam, I don't understand. The modem doesn't have a top or bottom half. It's one solid box. Someone would have had to break into your house, saw the modem in half, and take the top part. But leave everything else in the house? Old lady, I don't know. Now, I was thinking maybe she's thinking about something else. Me, madam, can you go to your computer and try to go to any website? Old lady, Is BBC okay? British Broadcasting Corporation, not the other BBC. Me. Sure. Old lady. Yes, I'm on their page now. Me. Okay, that means you still have internet. Can you go to the modem and see if there's any lights on it? Old lady. Yes, just give me a moment. Old lady. Oh, it got knocked over. Click. Yeah, the old lady couldn't see the top of the modem and immediately assumed someone stole it, even though it just fell over on the backside. Now, my thoughts. I feel bad for OP and the little old lady here. I mean, OP is trying to get their head around what the old lady is thinking, and the old lady didn't realize that it just fell over. I did get from OP that the little lady didn't sound mad or anything when she clicked. She's assuming that she was actually very embarrassed when she realized what she had done and just hung up out of embarrassment. And I'm thinking the same thing. If I phoned someone with something like this, I would have been very embarrassed. Maybe hung up, but knowing me, I would just apologize. I am very Canadian after all. My Dog Ate My Internet by Original Deadly Sin. So, one day working internet tech support, I get a call from a gentleman whose internet is out. Somewhat interestingly, he lived on the very outskirts of our service area, a subdivision that was just being built. He was one of our first customers in that area. He may have actually been our first and only in that area at the time. It's been a while for me now. So, the physical cable pedestal, the green box, usually somewhere around 1 square foot at the base, 3 feet high or so, there's about one every block in more populated areas, was actually located inside his backyard. For some reason. I'm assuming some kind of easement. Before I even start troubleshooting, he told me he was sure the problem was because his dog had damaged the pedestal. The obvious symptoms, lights on the cable modem and my tools, backed up that he wasn't getting a signal. But, I mean, a pedestal is a metal box with very little in the way of exposed parts. But maybe his dog dug down near it and got a buried cable. Okay, sure. We send a tech out. Now, I very rarely have direct contact with an on-site techs, and those are only when I call them. But a week or two later, I check in to see how it went. Standard procedure for me with interesting calls. Curiosity, not procedure. I found the most copious notes ever made by a tech. He knew everyone was going to dispute him if he didn't do so. I'll quote from memory as best as I can. Pedestal was eaten by dog. Yes, eaten. Half the pedestal is missing, inside and outsides. Remaining pedestal has clear bite marks and chunks clearly bitten off. I cannot find most of the pieces that are missing. Dog is as tall as me and twice my weight. Owner called it a wolfhound. He is very friendly, but do not replace this pedestal in customer's backyard. This dog can and will eat it again. They did not listen. The pedestal was eventually replaced in the same spot. This happened a second time. Notes this time were more along the lines of dog ate pedestal again, executing to some higher person, I don't know. We will need to move this pedestal. No notes after that. I gotta assume that it was unbelievable once, but not twice. My thoughts next. So I absolutely loved this story. It put a huge smile on my face and made me laugh when I read it. I am so happy I'm able to share this story with you guys. I can't believe this wolf hound ate the internet not once, but twice. But I am happy that this company realized at least the second time that they can't put the internet, or this box, in this guy's backyard. I just now want to know what a wolfhound is and just pet it. I love dogs. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. User states, I can only open one program at a time in my browser. By G. Smith 2885. I work for a large multinational in-call center as a level 1 tech support. At peak times, we have between 20 to 30,000 employees connected to our network. Our users use various applications, many of which run in browsers. Some of the programs require Chrome, some require Internet Explorer. I've been doing this for long enough that I have a pretty good understanding of how everything works, but I have been surprised a few times. Now, on to the story. Me, blah blah, how can I help you? User, I can only open one program at a time in my browser. Me, I already know where this is going. What program are you attempting to use and in which browser? User, I'm using X program and Y program. I tried in Chrome and Internet Explorer. Me, okay, that's a bit odd. These should work in both browsers. Let me remote in and see what is happening when you launch them. Establish remote access. Me, okay, show me what is happening. User launches X program in Internet Explorer. It appears to be working. User then launches Y program in the same tab. User, now when I go back to X program, I'm logged out. I need both to be running at the same time. Me, let me show you how tabs work in your browser. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this user did not know that tabs were a thing. She also didn't know how to open a second browsing window. I was truly surprised. I had heard of this kind of thing, but I'd never seen it before. Why is the phone software not working? By Razurak. A few years ago, when I was still with an internal IT department, I got a call from someone who was working at our hotline support. He mentioned that the telephone software wasn't working and he couldn't make it connect with his phone so that he could accept hotline calls. Since this usually meant that the account in question was locked, but I couldn't see any evidence that it was in the system. The account seemed fine, so I got off my seat and walked down to his desk. The conversation went as followed. Me, so can you tell me how you tried to log in and connect with your phone? User, I just entered my password and desk phone number, but it gave me an error saying can't find account info. Me, and you're sure you entered everything correctly? Because that error normally means that at some point you made a typo. User, in a rude tone, I do this every day. Of course I know how to put in my information. Me, of course, I understand. So could you maybe show me? User proceeds to enter his information and stops before hitting login. There, that's what I type in every morning. Me, I check if everything seems fine, but something seems off. Without saying a word, I moved his mouse to the field with the desk phone number and added a single missing digit. Hit enter, and voila! Login successful. He just then grumbles, took his keyboard and mouse, and made me leave. Also, before someone asks on how he was able to call if he couldn't log in, the software is only used for the hotline stuff. You can still make normal phone calls even if you aren't logged in. What is communication? By Prochimal. Be me, working as a tech for a rather small MSP. Many of our clients were small startups that had a short 6 to 12 month contract to help them get started up until they were able to afford their own in-house IT. We also had a few big clients, 3,000 plus employees. These clients all had their own IT departments, and depending on the contract, we would be either T1 or T2 plus support. The particular client in this story was the biggest kind, and we were taking over T1 support role, which usually involved taking on issues that could be solved remotely. AD, password reset, account unlock, voicemail pin reset, etc. Anything that had to be solved on-site would be escalated to their on-site IT. Keep in mind that this client was in the healthcare field. So, I was relatively new to the company when we started the contract with this client. I was about 7 months in. My colleagues and I helped my boss draft the rules and adherence is contained in the contract. After all, we were the ones that would be doing most of the legwork, so it was only fair that we would have some say towards the work that we would agree to. After some back and forth with the client, we agreed to take over the T1 support role. And all the access was set up accordingly. We were given an account in their domain with a limited admin access. Just enough to do the essential operations that we need to do. This account was shared between me and my colleagues. 4 weeks in, everything is fine. 6 weeks in, client hires a new system admin to handle on-site service responsibilities. The contract was then renegotiated to assign some specific responsibilities back to the system admin. The most important thing to remember that there was no mention of adjusting our account privileges in the new contract, because in a case of emergencies where their staff was limited or unavailable, it would be beneficial to allow us to handle some of the now system admin's responsibilities. In clients' eyes, we've proven our trustworthiness, and all the issues thus far had been handled with appropriate urgency, so they had no problem with allowing our account to keep the same access. 9 weeks in, colleague gets a access denied error when we're trying to unlock a user's account. I tried it on another DC, same issue. Weird. Let me call client and ask one of the techs if they know anything about this. Tech is one of client's technicians. SA is client system admin. Me is me. Tech. IT at client. How can I help you? Me. Hey, yeah, it's me from my company. We were trying to unlock a user's account, but we got access denied. Any idea if our permissions were changed or something? Tech. Not sure. I don't usually mess with that stuff. Let me transfer you to SA. He probably knows more about this. What account do you need to unlock? I can do it for you. I give him the username of the user, he unlocks the account, and then transfers a call to SA. SA. IT, this is SA. Me. Hey SA, it's me. We were trying to unlock a user's account, but we got an access denied error. Any idea if our permissions were adjusted? SA. Oh yeah, I adjusted some of your permissions to remove some things that you didn't need since I can handle them here now. I must have removed another permission by accident. I'll add it back now. Me. Thanks, SA. Also, next time you plan on editing our permission, kindly let us know so that way we can discuss it in a meeting. SA. Okay, well, it's my domain, so I don't need your permission to make edits. Me. I understand that, but the agreement between our representative parties states that our domain account should keep the same access as before you came on board. When you get a chance, please go over it with your supervisor. He should have a copy of the contract. SA. Okay, I don't see why it's such a problem. Me. Well, the user that called in today needed to sign in, distribute medication to a patient. We almost missed the window because of this. SA. Oh, well, when that happens, you need to make sure you contact us right away so we can resolve it. Me. Yeah, that's what we did, but actually, never mind. Thanks, SA. Take care. I hope he didn't completely miss the point. SA. By the way, I was thinking about getting rid of your general account and instead giving your team each individual accounts. Is that okay? Me, that sounds like a good idea, but again, it is not in the contract. Let's discuss it in the next meeting before agreeing to anything, okay? Talk to you later. Another week goes by, and there has been no meeting yet. User from client calls complaining that they are unable to print to a specific printer. User confirms the printer is turned on. I try pinging the printer, got a response. I guide the user through accessing the printer spooler, and sure enough, there's some corrupted document blocking the queue. No worries, I'll just go into the printer service and clear it up and then have the user reboot the printer. I try to sign into the printer service, and access denied. Great. Time to call client. Tech. Hi, this is Tech. How can I help? Me. Hey, it's me. Can I speak to SA, please? Tech. Oh, he's actually out today. What's wrong? Me. I think he adjusted our permissions without telling us again. Can you check to see if any of our permissions are changed? Tech. Let me see. Yeah, looks like it's been modified yesterday. Huh. I see some new accounts assigned to you guys. Not sure what that's about. Anyways, what you need? Facepalm. Was I talking to a brick wall last week? I proceeded to explain the printer issue and he resolved it. I didn't get into the issue with SA because I would have felt bad giving Tech an earful about his own colleague. Anyways, these little permission issues happened for another few days before we finally managed to get a meeting going between all of us. And yes, my boss received many complaints from me and my colleagues explaining this. Additionally, some of the issues were addressed with SA over email, so best believe I also sent these email chains to my boss for hard evidence of SA's misconduct. 2 new members to the scene. Boss, my boss. CIO is SA's boss and CIO of the client. Boss. Hey all, so the primary reason for the meeting is to discuss this ongoing permission issue that we've been encountering. On multiple occasions, we've tried to do certain pre-approved operations on your domain and we've met with an access denied error. Any idea why this may be happening? He already knew that SA is at fault due to our complaints, but to mitigate an immediate accusation of hearsay, he likes to start these types of meetings in an open-ended manner. CIO, from what I heard, you guys have been accessing platforms you should no longer have access to, and CA has been modifying your permissions accordingly. Boss, yes CIO, but as I recall, the revised contract states that we were to continue to have access to the same platforms in case your texts aren't available. I'll forward you the latest version now. CEO, receives contracts and looks at the section boss mentions. CEO, yeah, that's right actually. Then why did you guys agree to the permission changes? Boss, I don't remember agreeing to anything. Me, did you agree to anything? Oh, so CA was lying to his own boss about us agreeing to the account changes. Very professional. Me, nope. I suggested a communication be sent in advance if changes were going to be made, or that a brief meeting be held at the very least. But I have yet to receive anything. SA. Well, if I may interject here, I believe that we once again need to renegotiate the terms of our agreement because I don't feel safe having an MSP with access to all our platforms. Can I propose giving them each individual accounts, with boss being the only one having elevated permissions? CIO. That sounds like a good idea. I hadn't thought of that before. What do you guys think? Wait, he's already created these accounts. So he also did that behind his boss's back? Is this guy serious? Boss, that sounds good, but please send us at least 2 days notice of when you plan to put this into action, with permission for us to test these accounts' access before we actually begin using them. SA, of course. Boss, alright. Me, I want you and your colleagues to test the permission for these accounts when available and report back to me. Me, sure. 1 week later, account credentials are received. We all sign in and test. Everything seems good. Only boss has access to some critical services. The rest of us have enough access to resolve nearly any type of ticket that I could think of. 2 weeks with the new accounts, no issues. Then, a dreaded phone call from client. Me, hi, this is me. What did you guys do? One of our servers rebooted in the middle of the workday. Did you push out an update? Me, help you? Me, oh, hi, SA. No, we didn't push any updates. You're the only ones in charge of updates. SA, yeah, but your boss still has access to the server, right? Me, yeah, he's the only one with access, but he's not in the office right now, so he couldn't have done anything. SA, so one of you probably got his account info and signed in to push an update, right? Me, what? No! That defeats the entire purpose of creating our individual accounts. SA, then why the hell did the server SA, oh, never mind. There's a power failure error in the logs. Disregard, but please don't share accounts with each other. What? Okay, as long as he understands that we had absolutely nothing to do with this, then he shouldn't feel the need to address anything to us, right? 1 week later. I walk into work and I'm greeted by a friendly question from my coworker, which at this point damn near gives me PTSD. Hey, me, can you try resetting the user password for client? For some reason, I'm getting access denied error. For anyone wondering, there was no official resolution set in place for SA as far as I know. There was an incident with him that ended up making me quit. Maybe a story for another time. But as far as I know, he's still there, making someone else's life miserable. Thank you for bringing your lack of work ethic to my attention. By The Noble Mustlid. Disclaimer: first post will probably mess up the formulating. Also, not paid to do tech support. As background will explain. Background: I'm a biology professor at a small college. Due to my overall technical competence, I have a fair bit of an involvement with the technology we use to teach. The main system that we use, LMS, Learning Management System. An LMS is a system that the professor can log into to put in assignments and post grades. And a student can log in to do assignments and see grades. We have one staff person who oversees the LMS. But sometimes when she's swamped, she tells people to ask me nicely if I can help them. Because the technology impaired don't look at the system until the first time they need to pull a grade report. That means right around midterms people come to ask me questions. There will be 2 characters in this tale. I will be starring as myself. The other is a tall, thin man with a permanent scowl etched into his face. If you're imagining someone who is a set of plastic fangs away from being cast as a professor in a school of vampires, you're imagining him correctly. We'll call him Dr. Vampire because he's exactly the sort of person to dissolve into a howling cloud of bats if you don't call him Doctor. Our tale begins. It's a few days before midterm grades are due, several years ago, back when it was safe to let people in my office. And I already knew that Dr. Vampire needs help. See, the LMS manager has a software booking system, and a big sign on our door that basically says, if this door is closed, I'm in a meeting. To schedule time with me, please send an email here, or use this link here, or scan the QR code and follow this link. So, Dr. Vampire has been writing notes. Physical notes. Saying, "I need help," along with a phone number and sliding this under her door. He has now done this about 3 times, never yet realizing that he needs to use the dreaded computer to even schedule computer help. "Hey, Dr. Vampire," I say. "I heard you had LMS issues." Dr. Vampire: "Yes, it's telling me that all the students are failing, but I know they aren't." This indicates that the grade weighting is wrong. Our syllabus weights items by category, which happens to be the easiest way to weigh things in the LMS. You make catalogs, assign the correct weights to the catalogs, and then place all the grade items inside the correct catalogs. There are basically 2 mistakes people make. They put the weights in wrong. You'd be amazed at how often that amounts to basic math mistakes. Or they place something in the wrong category / no category at all. Okay, sounds like a serious problem, I say, which is true in the sense that failing every student would be bad, but not in the sense that it's a hard fix. Why don't you come over here and log into LMS as yourself and I can take a look. Cue confusion about which computer, because I have 2 monitors. But heaven forbid that anyone understands the difference between a computer and a monitor. I indicate that he is supposed to log into the computer that already has the LMS login page open for him. It rapidly became clear that we are not dealing with a simple misplaced / misweighted item. Every student has a course grade of 0, as if their grade never registered at all. But I can also see grades for assignments. Dr. Vampire is aggravated. "See, this person here got 100% on their midterm exam, but it says he has 0 in the course." We are both looking at the same screen. There is an enormous, glaring error which should be obvious to anyone who could read, let alone at the level sufficient to earn a PhD. I give him a gentle hint. "Which midterm?" Dr. Vampire: "There's only 1 midterm. Why would I have 2 midterms?" Me: "No, this midterm?" I indicate a grade column called midterm. Or this midterm. I indicate a second column called midterm. Dr. Vampire: "But I only gave 1 midterm exam. Why are there 2 grades?" At this point, I collapse the gradebook so we can only see the column headers. As was already obvious to anyone who had looked at a gradebook for 2 seconds, every single column is presented twice. Since we can still see columns averages, I can also see that one set of items has weight and an average grades of 0, all blank grades. The other set is weighted of 0 and average grades that actually make sense. There is your problem, I say. You have 2 of everything, and the one weighted 0 doesn't count, but it's the one you graded. Dr. Vampire: "How do we fix it?" I explain that we can just move the weights of the grade columns and delete the non-graded columns. This involves several explanations like, well, this column has a weight of 0 and it's called midterms. So I will assign it with a weight of 0.15, just like this column called midterms. Delete will be the trashcan icon. No, wait, delete the column with no grades in it. The grades are now reasonable. Well, they are really high, especially since I recognize some of these students as notoriously lazy individuals. But the course grades look like they are reasonably derived from the assignment grades. Dr. Vampire is still upset. Will this happen next semester? All I did was have them import my class from last semester. It must have been that girl, Reed woman in her mid-30s who has a PhD, over there, vaguely gesturing towards the LMS manager's office. Me. Huh. Well, let me look at something. I click back to the course page and look to see what materials he imported. He starts gesturing at the material and explains several things that he does that are well beyond any previous technical aptitude he has demonstrated. And then, suddenly, I understand. The double grade book, the high grades, Dr. Vampire's apparent ability to adjust due to dates inside assignments despite being unable to read his own gradebook. It all makes sense. Since Dr. Vampire can be banished by holding 2 USB drives at the right angles and shouting, "All of your paperwork will be electronic next semester!" the LMS manager has put him on her secret lost cause list. This means that at the beginning of the semester, she just quietly sets up his gradebook with the same weights as last semester, perhaps with an email to his department chair to check if he's changed any grade weights. So, at the beginning of the semester, Dr. Vampire has a fully weighted gradebook, and then he imports the whole course from the last semester, including the grade categories. However, this didn't replace the gradebook, it just added the imported items with a weight of 0 so as not to interfere with anything already set up. So he now had the duplicate items, one weighted and one not. But it's not just the course structure that he's using. No, he's been using the exact same course year after year. At some point he, probably with help, created a series of multiple choice assignments in the LMS, which he uses to replace every homework, quiz, and exam. This is really easy for him since the multiple choice questions just grade themselves. He doesn't even need to look at the student's work anymore. But it's also oblivious why nearly everyone has an A since the LMS has no anti-cheating mechanism. I need you to imagine being assigned a midterm exam that you can take in your dorm room with your friends from class, with the book open and the internet up, where all the answers are simple facts, and the questions are the same as last semester. We market ourselves as a small school with engaging teachers, not like those big state schools where the teachers are really researchers with a side of teaching. And Dr. Vampire has been taking a hard pass on about 50% of his work for at least 5 years. Me. Okay, yeah, it's an import problem. Let me take some screenshots to document. Dr. Vampire, knowing that I'm on the college technology committee, well, I hope you'll complain to someone who can do something. Me. Certainly. I will definitely be passing along a complaint to someone in charge. What is Communications? Part 2 by Pro Chimmel. This is a continuation from my previous day video. The link to the video is in the eye icon. Part 1 is rather long, and if you do not want to watch it, here is a too long didn't read. Or in this case, didn't listen. A few months into our new tech job at a small MSP, we take on a large client who has their own in-house IT. We were given admin account in their domain to handle T1 support and a few system admin responsibilities. They then hired a system administrator of their own about 6 weeks into our contract, and he took on some of our responsibilities that were more suited for a system admin to handle. As time went by, he continuously, and unbeknownst to anyone, also changed our account permissions around, making our job difficult and resulting in various meetings where this needed to be addressed, since it was a breach of contract. By the point in this story, our shared admin account had been discommissioned and we were given individual admin accounts with limited access. I'll leave it at that. Now allow this tale to do the rest of the talking. Characters. SA, System Admin. Tech, one of our client's IT personnel. CIO, client CIO and boss of SA and Tech. Me is me. Boss is my boss. At this point into this ordeal, we have had at least 3 to 4 meetings where we've addressed our grievances with SA's behavior. Each meeting would start with both sides bringing out any outstanding issues on any subject. And then we dedicate about 5 to 15 minutes towards the end solely to talk about how our account permissions changed. And then we dedicate 5 to 15 minutes towards the end solely to talk about how our account permission changes are getting out of hand and how it is in turn affecting their users and their patients. The client is in the healthcare field. Each and every time, the conversation would go as followed. Boss. Okay, so now that we've wrapped everything else up, we once again need to discuss what we're going to do about our account's permissions being manipulated without our consent. SA. Remember that your accounts are in my domain. You guys no longer need access to XYZ. So, the access has been removed. Just forward those tickets over to us and I'll take care of it. Boss. SA, users are getting frustrated at us being unable to resolve their issues on time because of us not having access. CIO, I believe you understand that in the end, you're going to end up taking all the flack for this. So this needs to be remedied for all of our benefits. CEO, yes, I understand. I've been swamped and I haven't been able to speak to SA about this. SA and I will speak about this offline and make sure you don't have this happen again. Don't you just love false promises? Anyways, before we move on with the story, I want to clarify something that many of you are most likely thinking now. Why is SA not reprimanded? Why is he still employed there? Simply, unless SA does something that would directly involve HR's intervention, CIO is the only one with authority to fire him. And why doesn't CEO fire him? Because as a C-level employee, he will always claim that he needs to fit 12 hours of work into an 8-hour workday, leaving him no room to deal with SA. In the end, tickets were being handled. Issues were being escalated with appropriate urgencies, and the other department managers were, probably, not receiving enough complaints to warrant a meeting with the CIO. So, with that being said, SA was essentially allowed to let loose. But you'd be out of your mind if you thought I was going to let this ruin my life. As time went by, we noticed that SA was no longer attending meetings. But Boss and I were not letting him get away that easily. I kept tickets of each and every ticket that we were unable to resolve due to our permission changes, and sent Boss weekly reports comprised of all these tickets. Every month, he would then consolidate these reports and have an offline conversation with CIO, solely to complain about SA's misconduct. I'm not entirely sure what verbatim he would use during these meetings, but he told me he tried his best to go over each and every ticket in that report to really let this sink into CIO's head. So, if a user was ever to complain to their manager or to CIO directly about a ticket taking too long to complete, we now had solid proof to show that it was a direct result of SA's misconduct. It was only a matter of time. One day, I got a call from tech while I was at the trouble desk. Me. Hey tech, what's going on? I already had their personal extension memorized. We were on the phone all the time due to our constant escalation. Tech. Hey me, I wanted to inform you that we're going to be passing the duty of patch workstations back to your team. SA passed it on to me, but I'm getting swamped with getting users set up for work from home due to insert 2020. Workstation patching here is not a lot of work, but I can tell that I'll end up slipping my mind and I can't have that happen. Oh, so SA bit off a little more than he could chew? Interesting. Me. Of course, no worry, tech. Can this hold off for a day or two, though? We're going to have to review the patching policies that were set in place before SA came aboard. I want to make sure that this is all up to date. Tech, sure, the sooner the better, but no rush. Let me know when you're ready to transition. Fast forward a few days. Policy was reviewed and signed by both parties. We regained access to the servers that manage patching. Tech and I then scheduled a few screen sharing sessions so he could go over the new machines that they had added and the new patching schedule they set up. Workstation patching was done once a week between the hours of 9 p.m. and 4 a.m., which includes security updates and third-party updates. Pretty standard stuff. Tech mentioned that he and SA had also been pushing out third-party updates during the day as long as they didn't require a reboot. His reasoning was that he wanted to ensure that their browsers were always up to date because he didn't trust his users browsing the internet while remoting into their machines from home, where they're not being supervised. Sure, their domain, their rules. After the call, I emailed him and got a confirmation that it's okay to push out third-party updates during the day, and got a response saying that it's fine, mentioning the same reasoning as above. Cool, I'm covered. Everything went smooth sailing for the next 2 months. Patches were going fine, we were now accustomed to escalating the appropriate tickets, and SA had not messed with our accounts at all. But of course, nothing gold can stay. One day, I pushed out a Google Chrome update to 7 workstations in the late afternoon. These machines were offline in the night before and didn't receive the updates. As the update is being pushed out, I get a call from SA. First time I've spoken to him since his last meeting. Me. Hey SA, how is everything? SA, all is well. I just wanted to ask why there's an update being pushed out in the middle of the workday. Oh, it's just a third-party update. 7 machines failed last night, and they needed to have their browsers updated. SA, yes, but why is it being pushed out now? Why not at night? Me? Well, Tech said that you and he both did this when... SA, me? I would never in a million years authorize an update in the middle of the day. Are you kidding me? I know Tech wouldn't do it either. I don't know why in the world you would think this is okay. I stay silent, thinking, was I set up? Was this a trap? SA, don't worry, I stopped the update. Have a good day. At this point, I'm appalled, confused, and most of all, disappointed at myself. Pushing out an update in the middle of the day is never good practice unless it's urgent. Why did I do it? Was I wrong to do it? Not even a minute later, I got a call from my boss. Boss, why the fudge did I just get a call from CIO saying that you pushed out an update in the middle of the day? We never, ever do that. What is wrong with you? Me, boss, you have to understand, this was standard procedure. This is never standard procedure. I never instructed you to do something like this. I'm literally furious. Me, it's standard procedure for them. When they pass the responsibilities on to me, I got explicit consent from Tech to do this for security reasons. Boss, calming down. Wait. Are you serious? Are you sure you have proof? Me? Yes, I'll send you the email from Tech now. Boss, but I thought SA was in charge of patching before you. When was it passed on to Tech? Me. Tech told me that SA couldn't handle it and passed it on to him, and then he passed it on to us. Boss, finally realizing that SA was behind this. Wow, okay. Send me the email. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. It's not your fault. Me, sure, sending it now. And just FYI, there are no reboots scheduled for this update, and no one sent in a single ticket about this causing an issue. The complaint came straight from SA. Boss, no need to say more. I'll handle it. Thank you, and sorry for yelling. Just to clarify, when SA and Tech were in charge of patching, they were indeed pushing out these updates in the middle of the day, as it was pre-approved beforehand by CIO. I found logs that confirmed this and also sent these to Boss to prove that I was not the first to do so. After this incident, Boss contacted CEO and CFO of the client and scheduled a meeting with them along with the CIO. I could tell this was the last straw. The result of this meeting would determine SA's fate. Would we finally be free from the grasp of paranoia? Would he finally be released into the wild and set to ruin another MSP in place of us? Well, it turns out that in IT, there is no place for this type of naive thinking. So no, SA stayed. The CFO and CEO saw how well everything was going based on the numbers of tickets that were being closed and how minimal the complaints had been, and deemed that we should keep everything as is. According to them, we just need to work everything out. The minute I heard this, I marked a day in my calendar as put in 2 weeks' notice. A few days later, I called my boss and explained that I wasn't cut out for this and that I was leaving the company in effect, to find a position in my true career path, software engineering. He understood completely, knowing the previous instance would have caused anyone to walk out. Out of sheer respect and appreciation for my colleagues and my boss, I put in a month's notice before leaving, instead of 2 weeks. Instead of the usual 2 weeks. This would give them enough time to find my replacement and allow me to transition my work to them and my colleagues. I ended up staying an extra week on top of that just to help clean up a few things that were on my account. Since leaving, I found a new position as a software engineer at another company. Boss has contacted me with other software development side gigs that his contacts have sent him. He has truly been a blessing in my life, and he has taught me more than I ever expected to learn while working for an MSP. It's unfortunate that the incident pushed me away, but at the same time, it really made me realize how much I disliked working tech support in a toxic client-contract relationship. I really enjoyed the Dr. Vampire story. That one, I laughed a few times as I read it. I really hope he learned why he needs to do his job. As for the second one about OP at MSP, I'm happy they left their job. Really seems like SA wanted them gone or make sure they looked bad. But OP is now doing the job he really wanted to do, and their old boss is even helping them. Both stories were really great, and I hope you feel the same. I do hope you enjoyed this little compilation. Tell me what you think down below, and if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and make sure it feels it. And of course, if you're new, subscribe and turn that pretty little bell to all notifications. I also hope my much older videos didn't make you cringe on the old way I used to read things. This was a good way of seeing how I have changed over the time, even though I've only been doing this for a year and a couple months now. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you have a good day.